Hey guys, welcome back to another Guild Wars 2 video. So today we will be testing out a laptop, the Legion 5 Pro specifically, which is the Ryzen 5800H CPU with an RTX 3070 GPU. The reason why I'm testing this is because it's a lot harder to get a GPU these days, and the best second choice is a laptop. And I'm pretty sure people are going back to school and they're wondering what kind of laptops they are getting, and this would be a good benchmark for you to have to see whether it can play Guild Wars 2 or not. So we're going to do a lot of world bosses here and let you see the FPS at various settings. So this is the Legion 5 Pro Gen 6 16-inch AMD that I'm using for the laptop. It's going to have a Ryzen 7 5800H processor, and I am using the microphone in this. So this is how you can expect the sounding of the microphone. So the price you see right now is 1700 for this laptop, but I have the 32 gigabyte version. So yeah, you're gonna have to add an extra 165. I got this on sale. I got it at 59.99 instead of this price right here. So yeah, I'm glad I did that. We got 1 TB PCIe SSD. We don't have any extra storage as well. Remember this 16-inch display, our graphics card is a 3070, not a 3080, not a 3060. So the 3070 is actually going to cost a little bit more. Oh my goodness, I guess I got a very good deal because my price again is 15.99. Then you got a camera, 720 HP HD, and then yeah, everything else, 300 watts power AC cord. Okay. As you can see, there is a lot of people on the screen right now, and we are at 18 FPS, 19, 20 FPS. So this is probably the lowest that it'll ever get, but we'll just have to wait and see until this boss pops up. One thing I want to note is that this is the 32 GB version of the RAM, and you can see up here how much is being used. And so the CPU has a 4.4 megahertz cap. Right now, we're not even utilizing all of it, and our temperature is fine. Our GPU is fine. So this is how it would look like with high performance on. We're going to go and turn down the settings. We're going to do 3 settings. We're going to turn down to best performance, and then we're going to go down to no reflections, no shadows, and medium and low. Just tampering with those 4 things, we see a significant improvement in the FPS, about double the amount. Almost, yes. Double the amount with all the same people around here. And then we're going to show you the next one is just for people who are curious about the best performance, which everything is set on the lowest, and you can see the FPS for yourself here. So we got a better FPS increase as well. We just wait a little bit before it starts racking up the FPS. Now we're getting up to 60. All the people around here. So that's what you would expect when you're in a large crowd, and most of the time you'll be playing on the second setting where I just edited 4 of the settings, and yeah. Okay, so this is gonna go really fast, so I'm gonna have to change the settings really quickly. So just look at the FPS counter on the top left and you'll see what kind of FPS I have. So the pinata showed up and we're getting around 10 FPS. Now let's change some of the settings before everyone kills this boss. We're going to turn down reflections. We're going to turn down shadows. Turning down. Oh, he just died too fast. So sorry about that. But yeah, as you can see, our FPS just went up to 40, 30 to 40. So we're going to test more bosses, so don't worry about that. So here we are in Shadow Behemoth, or yeah, so we're doing this world boss, and this is how many people we see on the screen. We have around 43, 41 FPS while doing this. I'm looking around. And there you go. So my settings here, if you want to see, is everything on high. There's no shadows, no reflections, medium, and low for these 2. So this is your typical setup for any computer that you want to try out, or if it's enough to handle a world boss like this. But let's see best appearance. So everything is set on its highest, and we'll see how much FPS we have dropped. So we dropped around 10 FPS when we set everything on highest, and there you go. That's how it would look like. So what about poor? Because most people who have laptops, they do the best performance. So now we're gonna do poor, everything on low, and now we'll see what our FPS is during a boss fight. Is around 67, 72. There we go. And now on to the next boss. So this is Shatter, and now as you can see, our FPS is around 35 to 40. Drops a little up and down there, and if you want to see my settings, this is all on super performance. So everything's on high because I did best appearance. And let's just run around a bit, see how many things are going on. Just look at the top left screen and look at the FPS as I swing around and more people are coming into this area. We'll see how much my computer is handling. So my CPU should be maximum at 4.4 megahertz, so it's not necessarily at its max power, and you see the GPU is not working as hard as well. It usually is at about 100%. Remember, we are all at max settings. As I look around, now we're dropping down to around 25 FPS because more people are showing up and more things are happening on the screen. But this is what you would expect on max settings in Shatter with a lot of people on the thing on on the screen. So now let's reduce it to our typical setup, which is no reflections, no shadows, medium, and low. Now, as you can see, our FPS has doubled. It went up to 40, 36, with all these people on the screen. At first was about the same, but there was less people. Right now there's a lot more people, so therefore we have more FPS while there being a lot more people. So that's what you would expect to see during a world boss fight, like the Shatter. And since if you're curious about what's your FPS when you do best performance, let's go over here. We're doing best performance. So we're doing best performance now. Remember, I have a 1600 full screen on at the moment, higher resolution than 1440p. So right now, this is the best performance we have here is around 55 FPS MDs. So you can tell that if you really want the most amount of FPS, you just do best performance on Guild Wars 2. But if you don't care about that too much, you can just do the second settings that I had, where I turned off reflection, turned off shadows, lowered the model limits, and that's enough for you to be able to play this game without any FPS drops that are too significant. So there we go. On to the next boss. So right here we are witnessing a fight in world versus world. This is how much FPS you will expect in this area. So around 50 FPS. What are my settings? I think I'm on my highest settings. Okay, this is lowering the reflections, lowering the shadows, and the two model limits. So we're gonna do our best appearance. Everything's on the highest, and that's how much FPS you expect from this little small blob fight. Not too big, so still, it's a good test to have. We're in world versus world. Our FPS is around 48 with everything on the highest settings, and that is pretty decent on a laptop, right? Just for anyone curious, we're gonna do best performance. Here's our best performance. I know it looks ugly, but you get way more FPS during this transition. So there you go. That's the world versus world for a small blob fight. Your FPS is decent. So here we are at the chalk area at Tango Depth, Heart of Thorns map. This is what you can expect your FPS will be like at highest performance. So we're getting around 25 to somewhere around there FPS. So we're going to change our settings now. We're going to go down the reflections. We're going to go down the shadows. We're going to set medium and low right here. So just turning those four things again, we're going to see a big improvement to our FPS, around 40, 35, 36. So here you see the FPS has increased almost doubled again. So that's what you can expect while doing a Heart of Thorns world boss in this map. So obviously not everyone are in this lane, so this might not be a good test, but we'll do even more bosses later after this. So we reduced to best performance. As you can see, our FPS almost went up another 50%. So it's around 60 FPS as we're laying dead around here. Okay, so on to the next boss. So this is Kaladong Forest, and this is the Great Jungle Worm, and we have all these people here. And as you can see, our FPS is around 30. So let's look around 25-ish FPS. I'm gonna try to dodge his attack. Okay, then this is all on super high, by the way. Everything is ultra. Now we're gonna do our little editing. We'll go no shadows, no reflections, and medium and low. So what's our FPS now? 55, 60. So I guess for this kind of laptop, you can expect to just be playing on this kind of settings at all times. You don't have to go into best performance, but for some reason, if you want to lower your fan noise or anything like that, then yes, you will do best performance. But so far, the fan isn't even annoying or anything like that. I don't even hear it that much. So it's quite quiet for me. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that this laptop spec is almost equivalent to having a i9 900K 2080 Super GPU desktop. So this rivals the performance of that kind of desktop. Can you believe that a laptop is able to achieve something like this in 2021? Oh my goodness. Imagine next year we're going to have even stronger laptops, and then, the year after that. Our technology is just increasing way too fast. So, yeah, anyways, if you guys like the video, and I think that's all I have for today. If I missed something, comment down below and I will try to address it. Oh, yeah, and I also am not running the Direct 11 or 12, whatever thing that is a third party program that you implement. I am still waiting for the DirectX 11 update for Guild Wars 2, and when that comes out, I will do a separate video on that as well as using my main PC too. So yeah, that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and